Welcome back. We're 1 week into the Easter break, and whether you are in the middle of eggs or camps, many are making the most of time off school. But with all the disruption to routines and excess sugar, for what we've just seen, it's also prime tantrum territory.
So here with advice on how to handle the Easter terrors is parenting expert Aoife Lee of parentsupport.ie. Now, I don't know about you, but after watching Heather and the whole egg scenario and a kilo of sugar with all those eggs, I am a bit terrified. And it's no wonder there's sugar highs and sugar crashes, which leads to some challenging times for parents and kids.
Absolutely. I think I'm in shock after that. And look, you know, it's you know, when we get into kind of holiday mode, we tend to down tools. Life kind of quietens down.
Well, it's our break as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No more lunch boxes and uniforms for another week. That being said, you know, things tend to unravel, and when there is sugar overload, or like routines are out of sync and maybe boundaries and expectations are down, you will see a change in behaviour. And I'm always mindful that you've got families that continue to work over the holidays. They're trying to keep everyone busy, and it can be a tough time for everyone. As much as it's a lovely time, it can be tough going. So, you know, boredom can set in, and that has been the line that's been uttered in my house with my kids this week. Yes.
I'm bored, Mammy.
I'm bored,
Mammy. I'm bored, Mammy. What'll I do now? What'll I do now? What'll I do now? I don't know how parents do it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. We're angels. Angels. But I suppose I would always say we are very quick to jump in and create a plan and create that entertainment. And yeah, it's nice to make the most of time off. However, it's just as important you know, that it's okay for our kids to be bored, to not have to do anything, because it gives them that sense and opportunity to be, you know, imaginative and creative and self-sufficient. Because guaranteed, leaving them off 10 minutes, they will find something to do. But we do put ourselves under a lot of pressure to kind of micromanage all parts of the day.
Routine is important, but you still need to let them go away and use our imagination.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of mentioned their routine. Look, particularly the smaller kids, they do thrive in routine. It creates that predictability, consistency. They do like to know what's going on. Older kids, it can be a little bit different. They love to sleep in and stay up late. That being said, have the chat. We have another week to go. Some kids are going to be in camps, but the older the kids are, the more they're with their pals. So kind of look at, right, what's the purpose of some of the days? Take the pressure off. But, you know, whether it is meeting with friends or, you know, earning a bit of pocket money around the house, it's just...
You're talking about hormonal, grumpy tweens or teenagers as well, and trying to shoehorn them off the devices can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've just talked about sugar overload and chocolate sweets, and there is that tendency to kind of go, we're on our holidays, and obviously we're coming into Easter Sunday tomorrow. And, you know, creating a sense of expectation. You don't want to deny them. You don't want to be... you know, creating that sense of what they can and can't do. But at the same time, so everyone knows where they stand, to prevent less arguments, even just giving a sense as, right, there is going to be lots of eggs, there is going to be a lot of device time, there will be late nights, but to try and create some kind of expectation as to what's OK and what's not.
OK, screen time, you see, because I know from previous... Now, my kids are all grown. We've now got grandchildren.
Yes.
And I know that saying, right, we're heading out for the day, and it's... Oh, do we have to?
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the middle of a game here. And so do we need to put boundaries on screen time? Because that's all they want to do at the best of times.
Look, I think everything is in moderation. I think the last time I was on the show, we were chatting about this. And, you know, we can't deny it. It's part of our lives, both for the adults and the kids. You know... Expect that there is going to be device and screen time, but mixing it up and like that, all in moderation. You know, have to get outside. There has to be moments where maybe having a certain amount in the morning time versus the evening time, and creating boundaries around particularly older kids that have their smartphones in their in their pockets, that when you're having conversations during meal times, the phones are put away, so that there is, again...
Well, we have said many times, especially in the last 5-10 years, get out and see your friends. I'm playing a game with them online
yeah.
because
I know.
I'm talking to my friends.
It's so weird when you see them with the headsets and they're chatting away.
yeah.
And the tantrums if you try and get them away from it.
Well, this is where we have to be realistic as well, because a lot of our preteens, teenagers, that's how they communicate with their friends. But again, it's like, that's okay. However, you can get out the door as well and, you know, whatever,
Get
go
your exercise
meet up
in.
locally. It's trying to meet halfway, because if we're constantly telling particular older kids what to do, that's where you'll experience resistance and pushback. So having them part of that conversation can be a starting point.
My nephews frequently get dragged up the mountain near where we were from down in Cork, all up the mountain for a hike. Finn, Ulton and Con, and off they go. And you know what, they mightn't want to at the start, but at the end of it, they have a lovely time. The pictures are fabulous.
You know,
actually, we'll say hi to Ulton because he's watching now. Hey, Ult, how are you? Yay! I'm wrong camera. Hi. So they do go out and stretch their legs.
You will meet resistance, but sometimes it is giving them a little old push. And you say we're exactly the same. We get the kids up the mountains and the forest. We're lucky to live locally towards Dublin and Wicklow Mountains, and everyone feels so much better, you know.
And like Dave is making us go up the mountain again, and the complaining and everything else. But it's lovely to get out in a bit of fresh air, especially if it's this time of year because the weather is a bit nicer as well. And it stops, I suppose, the burns off some of the sugar energy as well, I suppose, and calms the mind a little
for
bit.
ourselves too.
Yeah, it is good. Heather was on before the break and frightened the life out of all of us with the amount of sugar that we're all going to take.
We're still going to eat an Easter egg, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, and the kids the same. We're looking forward to tomorrow and the amount of
absolutely.
chocolate. How do we put the limit on the chocolate?
Yeah.
You know, because they expect there to be a lot of it over the next couple of days.
It starts with us, you know. I am partial to an owl egg. I have to say now I love a bit of chocolate, but it's again being realistic and practical, because you mentioned there even about tantrums, particularly for older kids, that sugar high down to that sugar low, that's where you start to see behaviours unravel, and that's where we can be triggered as well. So it's kind of, if at all possible, kind of sometimes again throwing two sheets to the wind and thinking, right, let's have tomorrow over with and enjoy, and then let's, be realistic then.
Just very quickly, because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
When the tantrum happens, is it a hug to sort it out?
It's trying to keep as calm as possible and, be realistic and know that when that kind of lid flips, all logic and reason goes out the window. So it's just taking a step back, providing comfort and understanding. I know it's easier said than done, but it's certainly the starting point.
And by the way, that works with the big kids as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes they need it more than the little ones.
Yeah,
I'm every parent's worst nightmare. I'm the aunt who buys too much. I got one small man, maybe called Ulton, 3 Easter eggs yesterday. Oh my goodness gracious me, his mother's going to kill me. Anyway, enough about that.
Good to see you, Eva. Enjoy her
Yeah,
Easter.
thank you.
Okay, if you need any more information from Eva on tantrums or other child-related conundrums, you can go to parentsupport.ie.
Now, still to come on Saturday's Ireland Day, and we'll have some tips on how to help if you're suffering from hay fever at this time of year.
Plus, we've got American biscuits in the kitchen. Can't wait for that. Stay with us. We're live until 12.
Apparently they're scones.
Scones. It is.